Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, got some really good news on some easing restrictions of various things and really good news for people who are fans of a ship that hasn't stepped foot in the United States in over 10 years. My first story today, I want to talk about P&O Cruise Lines. In the news last week, they were being confused with P&O Ferries, who fired 800 workers, basically 25% of their staff, in a video conference call and said, by the way, today's your last day of work. And everyone was up in arms, but they were confused. They thought that was P&O Cruise Lines and it was P&O Ferries. Two completely separate companies. Well, I thought, well, let's do some good news for P&O Cruise Lines, and that is that today marks the day that all of their fleet is fully back in service. That's right, their entire fleet of 6 ships is now setting sail, and they are still looking for more employees. Again, they're not the ones laying anybody off. They've been growing their staff as the restart has continued. So good news for P&O Cruise Lines compared to last week, where it was a lot of bad news. Also in the news, we have a ship that has been stationed in Asia for 10 years now. The Voyager of the Seas, the original Voyager class ship for Royal Caribbean. Well, they decided to move it out of Asia and they're sending it, well, first of all, it's going to go to Copenhagen and it's going to do some Baltic cruises for the summer. And then in September, it's doing a transatlantic coming to Boston where it will do Canada and New England cruises. And then it's going to station itself in San Juan and do Caribbean cruises into 2023. But that marks the first time that ship has come back to the United States waters and will be sailing here for over 10 years. And for people who like to revisit those ships that they were on before and they had a really good time, or, you know, you happen to get engaged on that ship, or it was where you met one of your best friends, and or just the fact that it was the first Voyager class and now we get to relive it again. It's really good news for those people who like a little bit of nostalgia and see that ship come back to the United States and do some Caribbean before, you know, eventually these ships go bye-bye, right? They eventually, kind of like the Carnival ships lately that have been scrapped, the fantasy class. So yeah, at least we're going to get at least a couple more chances to get back on the Voyager. And if you wanted to do a really interesting trip, maybe that transatlantic in September followed by a Canadian cruise would be pretty interesting. I also have some really good news on things easing up, but before I get there, you know what I gotta do? I gotta do it. The algorithm says, hey, Don, you gotta do this in every video. And the YouTube gods out there tell me to say, if you like this video, why not hit that subscribe button? Just smash that button right now. What it does is really helps the channel out. It just tells YouTube people like to watch cruising videos. It helps the channel. Doesn't cost a thing. You're not signing up for anything. It just tells you, hey, another video is ready. And again, I'd really appreciate it. So what is some of the good news? What is some of the good news? Okay. Some of the airlines have started easing masking restrictions. They've started taking the mask off. British Airways, Virgin Atlantic, TUI, and now EasyJet. Mostly European airlines right now have decided that, yeah, we can do away with the masks, and they're starting to do away with them on most of their flights, gradually, starting with domestic and then international. Also, we have a lot of pressure here in North America from the airlines saying, look, cruise ships aren't doing it. We have businesses aren't doing it. We have the government's not doing it. Nobody's wearing masks anymore anywhere except on the airplanes now. What's going on? Why do we still have to wear them on the airplanes? And they actually came out and pointed to cruise ships saying, look, cruise ships are doing it now and they haven't skyrocketed cases or anything. So why? Well, quite simply, the The reason is more people fly every single hour of the day than are on a cruise ship every single hour a day. The numbers are staggering how many people fly compared to how many people are on a cruise ship. However, they do have a good point, right? Why is now it seems that airlines seem to be the only place you have to wear a mask. And so they're asking it, they're questioning it, as more and more restrictions have eased, considering at one point, even the CDC came out and said, you know what, air travel is safer from getting COVID than any other because of the way the air is circulated on a plane. You have far less chances to catch it on a plane than anywhere else. But it seems like the airlines now seem to be the last place you're allowed to take off a mask. It's funny how that works, right? Cruise ships were the worst and you don't have to wear a mask. Airlines were the best and you have to wear a mask. Kind of strange, but that's some of the easing restrictions, and we're hoping the United States is going to follow soon. Canada hopefully will follow suit as well and start easing those restrictions in the next, I'd say you're going to start hearing about this within the next month at the most. I think the pressure is on for the summer holidays. Last good news story we have. More countries have eased some restrictions for when you want to go cruising and traveling from different destinations. I told you just a couple weeks ago, Canada has now opened up. You do not have to take a test to fly into Canada anymore if you're a fully vaccinated passenger. Well, Australia is now following suit. They will be lifting their restrictions for flying into Australia. So when cruising starts in Australia, you don't have to worry about that pre-test to fly into their country. They go along with the UK, which has now eased all their restrictions. Italy, you don't have to fly in. If you're flying into Rome, you don't need to have a pre-test. So the only place right now that you need to get a pre-test in a lot of these cases is if you're flying into a smaller country like San Juan, perhaps, where you still might need a test to go there, or to get on the cruise ship itself. Right now, you still have to do that 2-day test to get on a cruise ship. So it's best to plan. Now, but the good news is you can now plan to stay wherever you want. You want to come into a country and spend 4 or 5 days. You can do that and just get the test when you arrive in the country for your cruise. Especially if you're traveling to a foreign country, the cruise lines will help you find a location to get that test to get on that ship. It makes things so much easier. I'm so much looking forward to my next trips. Just over 30 days from now, heading to United States through Panama and then back. And finally, I don't have to take a test to fly back to Canada. First time since the pandemic, I don't need to take that test. Looking forward to that. Found out when I fly to Rome, don't need to take a test to fly to Rome, don't need to take a test to fly back to Canada. How much easier does that just make travel? It makes it so much more convenient. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. We'll see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world. Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.